A spread, dude. An instant 20 points. Fucking love this game.
Just leave it like that, yeah. If you want, I'll put it here and then I'll just
All right. Morning, everyone. Sorry about the swearing that happened before I clicked the button. Let's get cooking. All right, last night's session in the States, another wild ride, up 25 plus points at one point on the S&P, well over 1%, up over 1% in the NASDAQ, only to really reverse into the close and pretty much close to the lows of the day. But the most interesting thing about the entire overnight session was not just the States, but how Asia once again totally shook off the terrible finish in the States. And I think, 2 sessions in a row, that sort of thing happens. For me, that marks a bit of a turning point, and I think it's something that we have to really pay attention to. I feel like we possibly have made our short-term bottom, at least on the JSE, for the last, for the next week or so. So just maybe play that accordingly. That's just my personal opinion, but we'll see how it plays out. Another thing that also maybe kind of added a little bit of calm to the U.S. markets yesterday, or at least earlier on in the sessions, is some of the earnings. We had J.P. Morgan, we had Citigroup, all of these. Some of the heavy financial stocks reported yesterday and slightly better than expected, maybe just kind of soothing markets a little bit on the session. So we obviously, as we get into earnings season, the more data and the more earnings that we see coming out, and it's going to be more focused on probably what the outlook is from the CEOs than anything. But if earnings season comes out and it's solid and the outlook's good, and the mood of the average company is good, then I think that markets will probably maybe settle down a little bit from some of the heavy volatility that we've seen. All right, moving on to Asian session. Like we said, really strong session, especially taking in the fact that the States had such a big reversal really into the close for a second session in a row. I think that like we said, that's very, very important, and we'll monitor that as that goes forward. It definitely looks like the mining stocks have put in a low for the time being. We have the Australian market rallying again. Mining stocks rallying again. The copper futures pushed nicely, almost as much as 3% off of the lows. We've also seen iron ore, which kind of seems to have somewhat bottomed out as well. So we've got a couple things that kind of are changing over the last few sessions that I think we've got to take note of and follow as we move forward. All right. If we look at our chart of interest, lower oil prices hitting the bottom line of oil-producing countries. So this is a break-even prices for all the different countries that are obviously big oil producers, and you can see here, there's some of these countries are producing oil at rather high prices. Some of them still have a lot of room left to go to the downside, but this is, we're getting to the point now, I think, in terms of where the oil price is, that we've got to settle out somewhere probably closer around here than anything, unless we really can start to accelerate on the alternative side. We're starting to get below a hell of a lot of what these guys are producing at, and that's just obviously not going to be sustainable. Some of the countries in the Middle East and OPEC there have already been talking about cutting down supplies. That's going to be something that's probably going to crimp the descent in the oil price as of late. So just keep that in mind, that we're probably starting to get closer to the lower end of what I would see as the price that we're going to settle into, and the oil price as well. Right. We have several stocks reporting today in the States. Nothing really here particularly to look at. We've got Bank of America, we've got eBay, and we've got American Express. So obviously a little bit heavier on the financials, especially with PayPal really being the main source, or one of the bigger sources of revenue inside of eBay. If we look at market data today, we had a hell of a lot to look at. We had Chinese PPI and CPI both a little bit softer than expected. I think that probably also is a little bit of the positive that we saw out of Asia. That opens the door potentially for them to come in with more stimulus there in China. We had industrial production out of Japan that was lighter than prior numbers. We had German CPI numbers this morning, which were bang in line. We had Japanese machine tool orders, which are more or less in line. We've got Draghi speaking in Frankfurt right at the open. That could be something that could really move markets. So keep your eye on headlines on your Bloomberg terminal if you've got one, on your Twitter account, most likely what you're looking at. But keep an eye on that. He could throw some jargon out there that could really get markets hopping this morning. We've also got jobless claims out of the UK. We've got mortgage apps in the States later. We've got retail sales here locally at 1. And then we've got a slew of stuff in the States. We've got PPI, we've got Empire Manufacturing, we've got retail sales, we've got monthly budget statement, and then we've got the Fed beige book later in the session tonight in the States after we're closed. So lots going on today in market data. Like I said, I think that obviously the Chinese numbers maybe were a little bit bullish in terms of for potential stimulus going forward, but we've got a lot to focus on in the States, but I don't think that's where the real push is going to come from. I don't believe it's going to come from the data. All right, let's get into the maps. First thing that we're going to look at this morning is Anglo Gold. We're going to look at this on a 2-year chart here, and we are going to have a look at this level that we're coming down and getting very close to testing. I didn't draw that all that well, but we'll get it right. Just below 120, major supports in Anglo Gold. Let's get that right. All right. Let's see what level that exactly is, 116-ish. So let's call 116 is really about where the major support is in Anglo Gold. I seriously doubt that we're going to have come all the way down here and not come down here and test it. So we're going to have to watch how this one plays out. This thing really needs to hold on support here. Otherwise, it's going to get absolutely obliterated if this level drops. So just watch this closely. If you like playing in the gold shares, there could be some big moves potentially coming here in Anglo Gold. All right, if we look at Remgro, I wish I would have shown this one to you guys yesterday. I should have shown this one in the morning call, but I for some reason I didn't pick it up before I did the call. This is Remgro. This is a head and shoulder setup we have. It's actually a beautifully symmetrical head and shoulder here, with both shoulders being more or less the exact same height. And we really dropped the neckline, 2 days ago, but on Monday's session we came back up and tested it. Yesterday we really just proved the failure of that level, and I think the target here, the downside target, is quite big. We've actually got about $26 a downside from here in terms of the head and shoulder target. I don't know if that'll ever come to fruition in terms of a target that big. Markets will probably have to get quite wiped out, or we'll have to see some negative news specifically for one of the holdings that they have. But bottom line is, we're definitely looking like we probably at least maybe come down to test 200-day, closer to 217 in Remgro. So still looking a little bit shaky here on the stock. We're going to need to see it get above 228 before you can really own Remgro. All right, let's look at Kumba. Kumba has been dead to the world to own this for a long time. This is the kind of thing where this is why you don't sit here and try to pick the bottom, because it's spent the last call it 2-3 weeks, 2.5 weeks forming a base here and a bottom, and we did really bottom out at about 260. We made a real reversal there yesterday, and all it cost you is really $20 for it to prove it to you. This morning, yesterday, fully proving it to you, got above 285, which is really where resistance was, and now opens the door for us to come up and test 300 and probably go even higher. I mean, I think the sell-off that this thing had was wicked. We'll maybe look for kind of 50-60% retracement of that sell-off. Probably even can come up here and test maybe 320, 323 in terms of resistance if the market conditions will support it. But it would definitely look like we've put in a low, at least in the short term, on the miners. All right, we had a lot of stocks yesterday that made reversals. One of them being MTN. So many of these stocks intraday yesterday were just puking and made enormous reversals. MTN yesterday traded to as low as about 332, if I'm not 232, if I'm not mistaken, and we made a huge reversal from there to close all the way up at 236, and to hold this 235 level further, I think, cementing the importance of this level and the significance of this level. So, I think from my point of view, that that reversal that we had yesterday is really kind of proof of that level. It kind of drew a line in the sand there, and I think now is the time that you can maybe jump in and own MTN from these sort of levels. Sorry, I'm just typing in the wrong. But you can see SAB, this is LSE. The SAB made a huge reversal yesterday as well. We came down and basically kissed the 200-day. We opened really weak on the back of some of their sales numbers for the third quarter. We come out, opened at the lows basically, only to really make a hard reversal. We closed up in 1.25% in London yesterday. So I think we would have seen further upside here had it not been for the stronger rand versus the pound. So just keep that in mind. We've got it's another stock that we had a huge reversal in. I'm not even going to get into the technicals here, but Naspers, huge reversal. We traded to 1153 on the day, only to close at 1200, and we actually even traded above that right before the close. So a huge reversal out of Naspers. Sanlam, huge reversal out of Sanlam. Sanlam, in fact, makes a key reversal here. So the recent downtrend, for the last month or so, we've seen Sanlam in a downtrend, maybe call it last 3 weeks. We took out the lows of that downtrend yesterday, intraday, only to reverse up and take out the previous 2 days' highs and close above those highs. So beautiful key reversal out of Sanlam, and back above the 63, very important 63 level again. So I actually think that you can come in and you can probably unsettle them now as well, which is still a good 10% off the highs. So keep an eye on that one today. And the last one I'm going to show is Investec, which Investec kills me that it didn't come all the way down to 88. I was really looking for a move to 88 on support. But when you look at this setup, you can actually look at, I was kind of only looking at this morning, you can really kind of take the level as 89, 88, 70, this really works out to. Because it really, the lowest close was right here, which you can see here was 88.59. We really got down to that same level yesterday intraday, and so we really kind of came down, kissed support as well on Investec, right around the 200-day as well. This thing well off the highs, but as much as maybe 15% off of the highs as well. So a big reversal there as well in Investec. Not quite a key reversal, but very close, and I think also probably put in its bottom for the near term, and maybe potentially some nice upside in Investec as well. And that's it for today, guys. Good luck out there. Be careful in the wicked swings we're having.